Okay. So, a little bit of a. I know we did a little bit of a recap earlier, but a little micro recap. Um, you guys ended up on one of the black ships heading for the mountain. So, if you remember, prior to getting on the ship, when you were on the beach, there were a lot of people on these little wooden docks all along the coastline, uh, usually surrounded by other people they'd know. They would disrobe and well, they'd basically, take off all their clothes, get in these little dinghies, and head for the ship itself.
I don't want to see old man penis.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it just happened. If I disconnect, I probably lost power.
Ugh, alright.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good, that's not your
The
fault.
storms were gonna come in this
Dude, it's not your fault, you can't control that. Anyways. And if you recall, it seems a black-colored dinghy appeared for all of you and brought you to the black ship, which seemed to have almost magically come through this wall of fog. When you arrived on the ship, most of the people who had been brought there in their own little boats were being kind of herded below deck by these very black-robed figures who you couldn't really make out any features of. No hands, arms, anything. Just basically just people in robes. Now that you sat onto the ship and taken a look around, you've noticed that you can't exactly find Ethan anymore. He's somehow disappeared. All that's left is the rest of you sitting on the deck of the ship.
I just got team killed by a friggin' bow fighter.
Please.
No, I'm done. I'm done.
I know, but if you're gonna play War Thunder, dude.
No.
I know, but just can you not All right, go on. Nothing.
Hey,
Anyways.
has anybody seen where did he go?
Not quite sure, but I know that he said make yourselves at home and kind of ushered to where we're at. So I guess we just stay here. I don't know.
I suppose. I'm not really sure what else we could do.
I bet one of those black-robed figures is going to come to us but we should just stay put for right now.
I wonder if they operate just like a Jehovah's Witness, but we will
what
see.
now?
Someone who advertises their god and tries to convert you.
You mean a preacher or a
Something
evangelizer?
Something of that nature.
Evangelist.
Yes. We have another term for them, but I was ever very religious myself. But I don't think I'll be giving myself to this god in particular.
I mean, he healed me, so... At least that priest did.
In the end, it's better for us to wait for them to kind of tell us where to go and what to do, instead of just causing an issue. You know?
Oh my goodness, Isse, where have you been? You sneaky bastard. Where have you been?
I was quite interested in this book.
What's the book about?
Yeah, what's the book about?
It was about awakening my spellbook. Now I can use it as a spell focus.
You know, as someone who specializes in stealth and information gathering, you are very fucking sneaky. We have to learn a thing or two from you.
So you read a book about how to read a book?
No, I read a book about how to make my book better.
Fair enough.
Did the book at least have pictures in it?
A few.
Ooh.
Let's say, wizards do enjoy their pictures.
Glyphs and whatnot.
Well, I think we should just wait and not stir up any ruckus that we don't need to stir up. I have a very bad feeling about this place.
Yeah, I was gonna say I never would have thought I would have seen myself coming here, this soon. Would have thought it would have been, probably when we're older. But
Hey, at least we didn't have to get naked.
See, you keep saying that, but I feel like you're saying that to manifest it. And respectfully, I would rather not get naked.
Well, I'm just saying we didn't have
I know,
to.
but
I mean, if you want to go right
no,
ahead. But...
no. What I'm saying is you keep saying it, but they'll probably have us. They'll probably try to have us. You are manifesting that option into the universe.
I don't think that's how that works. Like
You
that.
would be very surprised. You know how coincidences work? That's one of them.
So if I have very good thoughts, I will get very good results.
That's how I think. It's worked out for
Okay.
me so far.
Hmm.
Is that why you insulted 2 guards?
No, I insulted 2 guards because they assumed that I was a slaver. Then they automatically assumed the worst, therefore they got the worst.
That's not how that's supposed to work.
Yeah, not how that works.
Never said there was any logic that you could comprehend to it. It's just I don't like being called a slaver.
Okay, slaver. And I kind of give you a toothy grin.
Mizuno.
Yeah.
You can't just say that and then you can't. I knew that was a joke. I knew that you weren't being serious. Come on,
I
regardless.
believe
come
that
on,
was
let's
the
just-
point.
Let's just sit. Let's just wait. The sooner we get out of here, the better.
It's been 3 days and we've already been on 2 boats. Actually, has it been 3 days? I can't remember.
Time
about-
violation is a bitch.
Yeah, why did we even get on this boat again? We didn't have to.
The Flayer priest wanted us to accompany him to see
Well,
the
he said
cathedral.
Well, he said we could. He didn't say we had to.
I know, but we were all curious about wanting to see the cathedral.
Okay.
I'm still curious, even though it could possibly kill us or do something even worse.
What
But
did you just say about whatever you just said?
I'm not. Look, everything will be fine, but we also have to realize that something could possibly go wrong. There's the 1% chance.
Am I the only one that sees the irony in all this?
Yes, there is irony. I see it too, trust me. I don't get a lot
Well,
of
if
chills.
we all die and I get to the afterlife, I'm going to going to make your afterlife not fun.
I will be looking forward to that.
Just to let you guys know. Turns out Royal had his sister show up.
Oof.
And his house is now filled with multiple small children.
Oh no.
So it sounds like you will be putting on your best Clank impression today.
Refuse. You can't make me.
Listen here, motherfucker.
Go. Anyways.
I'm just gonna kind of sit down
Yeah, I guess we're just
stretch.
waiting.
and relax.
So one thing that becomes pretty clear after a while is that there doesn't seem to be any real noise on the ship. Usually on any boat, you can hear the sound of the waves and maybe even some wind passing through, and some creaking of wood. But the black ship doesn't even seem to be moving. It just seems to just be sitting still, not going anywhere. There is no sound of people moving in the deck below you, just nothing.
All my years on a ship, I gotta say this is the most peaceful voyage I've ever been a part of.
Try to knock on the wood to see if it makes a sound.
Go ahead.
Just I'm gonna
Alright.
do that.
Yeah, okay. I don't know why I said go ahead, sorry. As soon as you knock on the wood, it doesn't really feel like wood. It feels, honestly, more like stone. And it leaves a sort of residue on your knuckles right as you do it.
See, now all of my time being on a ship, I've never seen anything like that.
I don't know. There's some pretty crappily maintained boats.
Yeah, but it
It'd be
didn't
like
feel
that-
like wood. It felt more like stone.
Be like that, green stuff, algae, but
I'm-
black.
I mean,
Can I try and take my hand and do like a rubbing motion kind of against it to see if it's like a kind of like if it's like a powder or something like that, or see if it's like a solid object?
Yeah, of course. So, as soon as you start like rubbing your hand against the deck, you do get a lot of this residue on your hand. It doesn't change the color of the deck, but now there's this kind of black dust that starts to float up from the deck itself and into the air.
You seem to be making quite a mess.
But it's not leaving an indent in the.
No.
I'm gonna wipe my hand off on the armor, clothes, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, I'm
Anything that'll get the residue off, really.
Yeah, the residue comes off just fine.
very that is not normal by any stretch of the word. I've never seen a ship built of stone. I've seen airships, I've seen normal ships, I've seen men of war battleships, but I've never seen anything built of stone that leaves residue.
Quite interesting, though.
Mm-hmm.
And
All
the
I know is it's nice and quiet and peaceful.
and the ship doesn't seem to be moving, does it, Closet?
It doesn't feel like it, at least.
And the Flare Priest went below deck?
That seems to be the most logical assumption. You remember, you didn't exactly see him leave.
Then yeah, I guess I'll stand up and I'll dust off like the back of my trousers and stuff, and I'll look to the rest of the group. I'm gonna go try and find our friend that led us here and figure out what exactly he wants us to see at this cathedral, because I don't want this trip to be a waste, and I want to know exactly what we're going into. If anyone would like to join me and satisfy your curiosity.
He pretty much said just stay here and we'll be there eventually. I mean,
Yeah, there's no
Flare
reason to
priests are-
rush.
Flare priests are more so known for helping people, not really leading them somewhere where they can get hurt.
Yeah, it's just they really need to hire a redecorator or 12.
Can I?
Besides, once we get there, well, I'm sure we'll find them again.
Can I look over like the side of the ship and then towards the Black Mountain? Can I kind of get an idea on if the ship is even moving and how fast
roll me
it's probably
perception.
going?
Yeah, roll me perception. Okay, so as you look over, are you looking kind of like over the bow?
Yeah.
Like towards the, yeah, okay. So as you look over the bow towards the Black Mountain, you notice that it doesn't. While fog kind of blocks your views to the left and right, it seems as almost if you're in this corridor heading directly for the mountain. The mountain doesn't actually seem to change in size. Almost like you're not even moving to it at all. However, as you begin to look away, you in the corner of your eye, you notice water sloshing against the bottom of the boat, and the actual bow of the ship breaking waves, making a very clear indication that the ship is actually moving. It just seems as if your perspective is a bit skewed.
I guess I'll sit back down next to the group. I don't know when we'll get there, and I'd be lying if I said I was impatient.
After a few minutes, you hear what can only really be described as like a very low-pitched whistling that kind of moves through the air. After some time, the entire boat gets covered in a very dense and thick fog. And after just a few seconds of this, there is a loud crack near the front of the ship, and it's almost as if the ship moves through this curtain of fog. And right ahead of you, closer than what you could have ever imagined, is the Black Mountain.
What?
The waters in the vicinity of the island itself are this sickly green-like color. The clouds are starting to become dark with random bits of cloud just disappearing and reappearing all along in the horizon. Fog skews any vision you have of coastlines in the distance and even the rest of the Imperial lands behind you. All you can really see in the water is the island itself.
I'd say we're here.
This would be a terrible vacation spot. Oh lord.
Funky looking water.
Funky looking everything, if you ask me.
It's kind of one of the pretty much only places of the what is it? One of the few or only or few living gods still or something.
I'm not entirely sure, but if that's the case, I would like to stay away from this entire body of landmass. This is uncomfortable, to say the least. Even if this god is for helping people, I'm not sure. I rarely ever get chills up my spine, and this is giving me a chill.
Well, we can't exactly do anything until the ship decides to leave.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a very loud creak behind you as the door to the hold just slowly opens. In the doorway is one of these same black-robed individuals. Even with the light against him, you cannot actually see beyond the robe. It's almost as if it's just this opaque black layer covering his face and the rest of his body. He moves forward, and behind him pours just that same group of people that were led down to the hold. But this time they look almost empty, if the word is. Not exactly sad or depressed, but just almost as if they aren't there to begin with. More of these same robed individuals come out from the hold and start directing these people into boats. One of these robed figures starts to move towards you.
I'm just gonna sit up and watch
I'm
him
gonna
as he comes
stand-
closer.
I was gonna say I'm gonna stand up and be ready in case something happens.
As soon as it comes within at least regular speaking distance, it pulls down its hood, and surprisingly, it's Ethan.
Oh, you changed.
Hello.
As he pulls down his hood, you can see the rest of his robe no longer has that black opaque layer. You can see that he's removed most of his armor, and you can see his blank flesh. The same strange, grooved like white flesh all over his arms and chest. But the only thing he seems to keep is his helmet, his mask, covering his face. Do you have a nice trip?
Uneventful,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Uneventful and
Uneventful.
puzzling.
I assume I ask him, I say, I assume the fog was kind of just us approaching the island.
Yes, it was. The black ships take a rather interesting approach to the island. If we took the regular way, we'd be here for days, and I'm sure, as you noticed, as he points towards the group, many of these people don't have that long.
Yeah.
He looks back at the island. Are you ready?
Sure.
Lead
I
on.
think we are. Aside from
I
just us
suppose.
seeing the area, what is it that you wanted us to see exactly? Just to come here on a voyage, or?
Well, it isn't quite something I can put into words, but if you'd like to ascend to the cathedral with me, you should. You should.
Dang it.
We might as well, by the way,
Yes.
why are you coming here? Well, kind of a dumb question, I know, but why are you coming here to begin with?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we discussed this.
We might have. I'm having a lapse in my memory, I believe.
Out of character. No, you did not. Well, as we spoke on the beach, as he points to Cassian, whenever you asked me about the afterlife, and I spoke about how I would know, how I knew at least, what was in store for me. Well, and then he puts a hand out to the island. This is what's in store for me.
I see. So we're accompanying you on your final journey.
I suppose, as final is, it's hard to explain. So he kind of just shrugs and.
It doesn't feel
looks
like
around.
the final journey. Is that what you mean?
Finality isn't exactly the word I would use. But, anyways, he points over to a newly opened side on the boat. We can take one of these boats then. We don't have to be with the rest of them.
Lead on.
Alrighty.
He walks over to the same black dinghy that you seem to have taken, and then he goes to sit at one of the front benches. He motions for the rest of you to set it, and as you do, the dinghy's then dropped into the water, and you then begin the rather short trip to the island. After a couple minutes of...
hold on. Sorry. I was gonna ask him on the way there. I noticed that the water is kind of a different, kind of almost sickly green color. Is that anything to be worried about, or is it just regular ocean water?
No, it's nothing to be worried about. It's... As he thinks on it for a moment. I met a scholar some time ago who would speak about when mortals are near the... near any sort of divine power, their perception, he kind of like points to his eyes, tends to get a little skewed. Just to warn you, you might see things that might not actually be there.
Is that like the clouds popping in and out?
Actually, yes, that's a very common one. Some would, what is it? He looks up. Oh, yes, okay, so what that is actually a perception of what could be there, and what is there. It's sort of a mix of what will be there in the future and what was there in the past. It's almost as if your mind has a hard time comprehending anything that could live at multiple times. It's not really something that can be explained from a mortal perspective.
What was there in the past and what could be there in the future?
There's a theory that me and my associates back home discussed where there are multiple timelines. You know that sense of deja vu that you get? It's two of your current selves, those timelines interlapping, and then continuing on from that point. At least that's how I see your explanation.
That's somewhat accurate. That does cover some of it. I should warn you, the island takes a toll on those who approach. If you'd like to turn around, this is one of your last moments.
What do you mean by a toll?
I wish to fight a god.
He kind of laughs a bit. Unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to do that. As per a toll, it's nothing permanent, I should assure you, but it is a rather uncomfortable experience. That's all I can really say.
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable experiences are my forte.
Well, I mean...
I don't think it's a really...
Well,
I don't
mean...
know. I'm neutral on the subject.
I mean, would you like us to come with you, or...?
I'm going, for sure. My curiosity is piqued.
Yes, if you'd like to come, I would enjoy it. Witnesses are always welcome.
Alrighty, why not?
Okay.
As
we'll just have to kind of sit near you to tell us what's good and what's not. Like what's actually
Yes,
there
please,
and what's
man.
Oh, sure, yes, yeah. Sorry, I should clarify. Nothing on the island will harm you, I assure you. you just might not enjoy seeing it.
Of course.
As you close in on the island, there's a very... You can feel the presence of the stone, essentially. It starts to weigh deeper on you, and there's a much more intense feeling. Everyone go ahead and make me a charisma save.
Sick. This is where it starts. This is where it starts.
If I start taking psychic damage, I'm gonna hit you. The fuck is my character?
This is where it starts.
Charisma save?
Mm-hmm. How did we get 3 6s?
6! Roll 20's RNG gets
The
stuck on
curse of
numbers.
6 continues, I see.
No, Roll 20's RNG actually gets stuck on numbers.
Okay. So, for Cassian and Aldeck, there's... It puts you on edge. There's something on this island, and you're not really sure what it is.
East is to where our destiny has brought us. That is where godhood lies.
Where is Clank? Sorry about this.
Roll that charisma save, Clank. Fuck.
So, like I said, for Cassian and Aldeck, it just puts you on edge. There's something not exactly wrong, but different about this island. Something that you don't really want to... that you have no interest in seeing. For the rest of you,
Murder, kill, murder.
this island is death.
Oh, it was right.
Death incarnate. Not exactly the violent death that you'd expect, but the end of things. A very depressive cloud hangs over you. You get the feeling that this might be where you die.
Then it would be dying fighting a god. Perhaps death itself.
Has anybody gotten the wind taken out of their sails?
No, but I've never heard you so sad before. You alright?
Yeah, something's
This is
kind
going
of...
to depress
You sound very broody.
Something's a little off here.
Yes, I agree. Something is
we-
definitely not normal, but...
I'm gonna look at Ethan and ask, hey, is this like a regular kind of reaction that you get from mortals, or...
By this point, Ethan's just been staring at the island. He doesn't seem to respond.
Oh, Lord.
Mizuno just kind of has this blank
Well-
stare on his face.
Aldak, it seems like me and you are the only ones here that hasn't... I think me and you are both on edge. We might have to ensure our compatriots get out of here in one piece, both mentally and physically. That is wonderful.
Can I try and, like, shake Ethan, like, lightly?
I
And, like,
would.
on his shoulder, just to, like, try and get his attention real quick?
Yeah, of course. So,
See if he's, like, actually entranced, or see if he's, like, just zoning out.
as soon as you shake him, he doesn't really turn. He's still looking at the island, but he takes a bit of a deep breath and just a little moment of silence right before he speaks, and he just as still looking at the island, he just says, "It's the way of all flesh, and nothing else."
Oh, that is... I mean,
Are we sure we still want to keep going?
we
The only way is
Whoa.
forward.
Okay.
I don't...
Are you
think-
sure that you all
do.
want to continue? Because I'm fine.
I told
Personally-
you, I'd rather prefer not, because I know, well, I don't know exactly what's on that island, but I've got a pretty good idea.
Of course. Honestly, if you don't want to, I would recommend once we hit ashore, just stay by the boat. I'm willing to continue forward and see this through. I'm on edge.
I
but-
don't think it's a good idea to split up. I do not think it is a good idea to split up right now at this point.
I look Cassian dead in the eye with my blank expression and go, The way is only forward.
Okay.
Our path is set.
Okay. Well,
The way is shot.
looks like we need to continue forward then, Oldak. We just have to ensure that we can lead these individuals back to the boat and back out of here.
Well, how's the boat, and this is out of character, how's the boat moving? Is it like just magically moving forward? Is it someone's rowing?
Just like the dinghies from before, the boat seems to move on its own. There doesn't seem to be any level of propulsion that you can see. It just seems to be kind of slowly moving through the water.
Can I see around and see if there are other dinghies like kind of coming with us, or?
Yes, there's just a little bit behind you. Behind you to the right, you can see just the swarm of small dinghies with all the people that the boat brought in, all heading towards the island.
Okay.
I think we'll be
I'm
okay.
I'm going to explain the concept of Perihelion to him and like what he does, what people do when they come to the island to him.
Okay.
And basically tell him, typically when people are dying, sick, things like that, they'll come to this island and pray for, what was it, a bit of his flesh or something? Or
Are you saying this to
some of his
Cassian?
blood.
Some of his blood, yes, I'm saying this to Cassian.
Oh, okay.
And we'll basically pray for some of his blood, and if Perihelion wills it, then they will be cured, fixed, and sent home.
Sent
If
home?
Perihelion deems them not worthy or says no, essentially, and this is a very bare, basic explanation. I forget if they're killed or driven mad.
They're said to be completely unraveled, and their flesh is incorporated into Perihelions.
Yes, so killed, essentially.
Oh.
Because that's what I'm going for, is a bare, basic explanation, and
Well,
a very quick explanation. Yeah. And I tell him, I say, maybe what we could do is possibly maybe just stick to the boats if we have to hide from something or anything that may come for us.
I think...
And if there are any survivors, maybe just sticking with them and getting back on the boat.
I think that your concerns are valid. However, as long as we do not try to pray or ask anything of this god, I think we'll be okay. I think we're just a bit disturbed because this island has a lot of hardship that hangs in the air.
Can I try and roll a history check to see if anyone's ever spoken about before, like being a witness and not being affected or anything from Perihelion?
You can, yeah.
Because I'm looking for, like, if people have come back to the mainland being just a witness, having no interaction with the god at all in any sort of way.
Yeah, go ahead.
Fuck.
So you can't remember anybody of being a witness to this. All you know of are the people who went and the very few that have come back.
Life is not the journey, but the destination.
Okay, Mizuno. Yeah, we get it. We understand. Look, Oldak, as long as we keep our mouths shut, follow Don's instructions, we should be okay. If things seem off, I agree, we should take our compatriots and any survivors that we can and book it. However, we will have then made an enemy of this god and their priest. I think we should stay as neutral as we can until we absolutely have to act.
Well, yeah, we can effectively do that by staying at the boats, too, because if none of the priests say anything, then it's not an issue.
Yes, but then we should just...
If none of them approach us and tell us to go forward, then it won't be an issue, and we're not making anyone or anything angry or pissed off at us. On the other hand, we could go and meet this god face to face and have to interact with him and mess the entire thing up.
Yes, but then we would have just wasted our time on getting on this boat and coming to the island just to do that. I am with you. I am concerned. However,
you presume my time is to be wasted here.
I am still very curious on how all of this works and the being sent home of what you told me is very
Well,
intriguing.
Have
I want to see this process.
Have you heard Ulgu?
I
He
do.
wants to fight him. You think that's a good idea to go in with someone who wants to actively fight?
He will be
God?
fine. He will be okay.
After a few moments, you can notice that you've arrived on this black sandy shore. The grains of it are the grains of this of the beach. It isn't exactly like fine granular sand, but almost like large glass-like rocks that make up this beach. At the beach is another one of these black-robed figures in the tattered robes, waiting with its with assumingly its arms crossed, by this holding this sort of what I can only really describe as like a torch on a stick with a very bright blue flame. As you make the landing, Ethan steps first out of the boat and approaches the figure. Multiple of the other boats begin the landing, and these same kind of naked figures start offloading from the boats and continue and start walking up the beach.
I guess I will step out of the boat and just wait.
So as you look around, the beach stretches not for very long. It's a small area, but maybe about 40-50 feet ahead of you. There seems to be a very large stone staircase. The staircase itself wraps around the mountain, and continues further than what you can see as more rock covers your view. Many of these naked figures begin their ascent up the staircase, and Ethan is still possibly speaking to this figure.
I personally will wait until Ethan is done speaking, but if I can hear the conversation, I'd like to listen.
Trying to listen in, you notice that there doesn't seem to be any sound. No one there is making any noise. These same people walking up the stairs aren't saying anything. Ethan doesn't seem to be saying anything. All you can really hear is the crunch of feet against this rock-like sand, and the noise of people climbing these smooth, like stone staircase.
What's the rest of the party doing?
I'm gonna get out of the boat and I'm just gonna kind of stand there with a blank expression.
Oh my lord. Isse, are you also feeling very... Are you feeling very depressed like Mizuno here?
Depressed is not the word I would use.
Hesitant? Is that it?
Yes.
Yes,
We'll go with that.
Yes, I understand that as well. I'd be lying if I said that my own personal curiosity is piqued. But I can also understand the hesitation. This place is very, not very aesthetically and, personally doesn't pass the vibe check, but we must, or at least I'm curious to see on how all this works.
All I see is the inevitable.
Okay, Mizuno, listen. If Isse wasn't affected in the way that you were...
something to see if he's like mentally fucked.
Yeah. Can I insight check to make sure that he hasn't just
Both,
received brain
if you guys
damage?
want to, if you both want to roll insight check, go ahead.
Wah wah. Wah wah.
Jesus Christ, guys.
I think he's right where it gets stuck on a number.
Yeah,
because...
tell you what, both of you roll me insight again. Because both of you rolled sixes there.
I told you. Its RNG is not that good.
Alright.
We're rolling 6s or 18s.
Apparently. Anyways, so as Cassian looks a little closer at Mizuno, it's a little hard to tell what's happening. You're not really sure what... You know it's definitely from the island. You know it doesn't seem to be a natural affliction, if an affliction you can call it. But you get the impression that this doesn't seem to be permanent. As Aldak looks at Mizuno, and you start looking into his eyes, you try to glean something that you can get from his own vision. As soon as you do this, you spend a little bit more time trying to stare into his own eyes, and your focus starts to pinpoint specifically on his deeper and deeper into his eyes, and you start getting this same strong pull. It's almost as if this has become a gateway for the island to affect you again.
Can I try and like shake myself out of it or something?
Make me a charisma save.
Oh no. Just all that? Yeah, just all that or me? As well.
Just Aldak.
There you go.
Okay.
Good shit.
Noticing it trying to come over you again, you shake yourself out of it, and you come to the conclusion that the pull of this island is extremely powerful.
Okay, don't look into their eyes.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
The eyes are the mirror of the
This
soul.
is just putting me even more on edge. I really don't think we should be here.
After a few moments,
I have officially gone from neutral to I kind of don't want to be here.
I'll be right back.
Gotcha. After a few moments, you hear crunching of sand, and you turn to notice that Ethan started to approach you.
Ethan, I'm going to have to inform you that a good amount of our party have either gone through their emo phase or are very hesitant to move towards the cathedral.
I understand. Before we continue on that, I should apologize ahead of time, as he starts to unbuckle the straps of the back of his mask. I should warn you that I kept this mask for your own, well, I suppose, safety is not the right word.
Is this going to kill us?
No.
Should be quite interesting.
I'm
As
gonna
he-
kind of look just slightly away, like slightly down at the ground. That way he's not in my direct line of view.
So as he takes off the mask, you notice that you can start to see the top of his head, and it's the same pale white grooved flesh. And as the mask comes off, that's all there is. There are no facial features, no mouth, no eyes, no nose. It just seems to be just a flat plate of flesh.
So you're telling me that we met Slenderman?
I'm going to erupt into like a I don't want to say debased, a cackling fit of laughter, as that is like the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Okay, well that's kind of rude, don't you think? That's...
His god turns him into a. You know what? I'm going to be nice here. His god turns him into something like that. My god only requires that I do something.
Okay.
What is this place?
But this man has also helped a lot of people.
I've helped people, and I don't end up looking like a
Ignoring-
penis.
Ignoring my
Friends
party
rude.
member here
Yes.
at this point, have there been any just normal witnesses to things like this?
Ethan doesn't respond for a moment. He looks away for a moment, and it seems as if he's thinking, I don't believe there have been, at least not in my time.
Oh, that's...
And to you, my friend Ulgu,
Yes.
as he looks over at Ulgu, you can suddenly hear his voice coming. You can suddenly hear Ethan's voice coming from all directions.
Yeah,
My
I
god
do.
requires nothing of me.
Ooh!
Yes, but that still doesn't.
Ooh!
That's still.
Listen, I'm sorry for my party member.
No.
No.
You
And he
don't know
puts
my
up- he
true
puts his-
motivations here.
He waves his hand away. I am not insulted. I am just informing.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Okay, can you please help my friend out of his emo phase? This is...
Psychics.
Regardless.
Ethan looks at Mizuno and says, I wouldn't worry about him. He looks back at the island, looks back at the mountain.
Okay,
You will leave this island just as you were, with possibly a deeper education of something beyond mortality.
So, can I get your your word that if we trust you to go and witness this, not interact with your god at all, that we will not be affected physically, possibly mentally, but nothing that is going to affect us going in the future from, like motor functions, going insane, possibly. Can I get your word on that to help ease some of my associates?
Yes, I wish to make it to my holy day.
You have my word. Your safety is assured.
Insight check.
Okay, roll me insight.
Can I roll
Fuck
too?
me.
Yeah, all of you can roll in. If you guys want to roll insight, you could roll insight.
God damn it.
Did my roll 20 crash?
Dude,
Tato, roll it again for me, just in case.
oh!
I'm tempted to say no to that, but no, it's fine. Let's
My
get
roll
everyone
20
else.
crashed.
Oh, it did.
Hold on. Yeah, give me a second.
I want to know why we keep getting stuck on dice rolls.
Actually, Corporal, don't roll me insight.
I wasn't going to because I'm still in like
Psychics.
I'm still in my like fucking nihilist
We
phase, so...
might want to consider actually getting like a Discord dice rolling bot if we keep getting stuck on numbers.
Yeah. I might. I'm actually thinking about it now. All right.
That's why in my other D&D group we actually have cameras and we roll.
Yeah, but I don't have that many dice.
I don't
Yes,
have
and
it.
everyone
have
doesn't
no-
have a camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but so we'll work
Alright.
from there.
So, Cassian and Aldak, you guys seem to be pretty assured by this, but you can't really you try to, I suppose, suss out if he's actually lying to you, and nothing really sticks out to you. Isse takes a good amount of time to analyze the words he said, and you come to the conclusion that he's not lying about you being safe, but you notice that he didn't say anything about not interacting with the god. Ulgu, even with his own distrust of psychics, comes sort of believes Ethan on his guarantee of safety.
Well,
Witness me.
we might as well go ahead and get this over with. The quicker that we do that, the better overall, and the quicker we get off this island.
I know one thing, and that is I know nothing.
I know that once we're off this island, you are owing me a drink for being this depressing. I know I'm broody sometimes, but you are completely on like a scale of 1 to 10 up to 11, my friend.
I still really don't like the feeling of this island. I'd rather not be here.
Can we move on from the shores, thank you?
Ethan points, gestures to the staircase and waits for you. Waits for the rest of the party to move.
Lead on.
Get this fucking over with.
Yes, I'd rather let you lead and not possibly piss off your god.
With me, priest, I wish to discuss what we are going to witness.
As you wish.
Yes, can we do this while we're traveling up the stairs? They seem like a big amount of stairs.
It will take some time.
Of course.
I warn you, if you see any parishioners climbing up the stairs, do not assist them. This is part of what they've come for.
Okay.
So, as
Why are they naked?
I'm gonna keep my eyes kind of still towards the ground enough to see where we're going and following Ethan, but not like looking at anything if I don't have to.
all
I'm
right.
kind of just like I have my head down and I'm kind of just staring at my feet while I walk.
So, Ethan looks over to Ulgu. This is, it's more tradition on the side of the Imperials. This isn't required of us. This is just what they've decided to do. Many times, or at least most of who come here, are the poor who cannot afford any actual healing. If that makes sense, most of their possessions are given off to their family before they arrive to the island. Mostly because they cannot afford to not do that. And so the tradition was born, I suppose. with those who arrive to the island disrobing before they reach here.
Oh.
What sort of ritual do you plan on performing here?
There is no ritual. Just an audience. For those who've come for healing, they ask Perihelion himself. For assistance. If he decides to give it to them, they will be given an infusion of his blood. If not, they will be shown their future and allowed to meet their end. As you're all climbing the stairs, you can occasionally see the same black-robed figures just standing on these stone pillars overlooking the staircase. Many of them seem to just be watching you and the other people making the climb.
I'm just gonna keep walking and not helping anyone. I'm just
I
gonna
was
follow
gonna
Don's
say, I was gonna
instructions.
say I'm not noticing this because I'm still looking at the relative ground.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna continue forward.
Categoric failures, all of you. Not obviously in character, but...
One second.
If any of the parishioners come anywhere near Isse, he dances away like they have the plague.
After a little bit, you see one of the same people making the climb up the stairs just fall down on one of the stone steps. You hear this rasp coming from this very old man who has collapsed on the stairs. His eyes kind of roll over and he just stops moving on the step.
Weakness, unfit to meet his god.
After a little bit, you can hear this sort of wet kind of slapping noise off to your right, behind some rocks. What seems to be this large quadruped-like beast. Something absolutely terrifying. No semblance of skin. This massive musculature. It just seems to come around the corner. It seems to have almost the malformed body of a boar, but the head is instead this large worm-like creature that darts around very quickly. It seems to be sniffing the air.
Still looking at the ground.
Just keep moving.
That's not something you see every day. Tell me, priest, what exactly is that thing?
Ethan looks at it for a little bit and then looks back up the staircase. What do you know about our god?
I know that it is a god of flesh, that it is a god of blood and tissue.
Yes, but prior to that.
I know
It's
not
going
much.
to consume that old man, isn't it?
Just
Yes, I am. Well, yes, it is. You can hear a sort of loud, almost suction-like noise as the creature just sucks in the body of the old man. Its stomach kind of extends, and it just sort of, kind of trots away back into the stone, like the kind of outcroppings of stone it came out of.
just keep moving. Do not engage.
Still looking at the ground.
Do not engage. Do not.
It's really nice.
Provoke.
Still looking at the ground.
Well, as Ethan looks back at Ulgu, long before the Empire, many different creatures walked the earth and the lands around it. Many such creatures were magically inclined, such as yourself, as he points over to Isse. And many of these were hell-bent on conquering other dimensions. One such dimension was the Fleshscapes. The Fleshscapes were an
He's an
interesting
outsider.
place. there was a dimension. Many dimensions exhibit a specific aspect of things. Elemental planes of fire, of air, or water. Flesh is a strong concept. Yes, it's in everything. So he kind of points to himself and even points to yourself. You and I are both made of flesh. It's such a strong signifier of what we are and what things are. And such, there is a dimension for these things. In the dimension were the Void Giants. Just beings, large pillars of this same aspect. Very powerful beings. The older they were, the stronger they were. Perihelion is the last of the Void Giants, last of a major cataclysm that had claimed the Fleshscapes as a whole. It's hard to know history from a god that speaks only to you in visions, but from what can be gleaned, the Fleshscapes were ripped apart by a massive war that spanned across multiple different dimensions. This is, again, long before the existence of the Empire, long before even, well, the birth of men, really. It's said that Perihelion, the last wounded Void Giant, was the last one of the conflict, having not only been the last to survive the final battle and killed his enemies, but also the last of his own kind to survive. And in this cathedral, he has created a home for himself outside of the Fleshscapes. It's been thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years since those events, and Perihelion has only grown stronger. Men, such as myself, and creatures such as you, have usually come to refer to beings like this as gods, because, as he looks around at the island, can you really fight that he is?
It is an easy explanation.
I suppose, but if one looks like a god, acts like a god, and speaks like a god, is it not a god?
So I have a question. Has
If a man-
Perihelion ever... Well, first of all, do you and your fellow priests talk to each other about the visions that he gives you?
No. I have never met another Flayer priest.
Huh?
To you
Well, they're
specifically.
not them over there. Point
Yes,
to
are
some
they
black
not-
robed figures.
Are you the only Flayer priest on this island then?
Yes.
So what are those? Points to the
Those?
black robed figures.
Those are drogs.
Rogues? Are they like acolytes?
No. Well, he kind of thinks on it. Drogs are a bit interesting. There is a realm between realms. I'm sure many have different names for it. I'm sorry, I can't exactly remember what the colloquial term for it is. Anyways, many times in these space between realms, souls will be lost. And occasionally those souls will almost lose their vibrancy, if that makes sense. Many times they'll, once they've become shelled and hollowed out from what they were, they'll return to the material plane. Drogs are nasty, violent things, really. They'll do whatever they can to absorb the souls of whatever creatures they can find. Many more divine creatures, I suppose, keep drogs in their service in order to stop the larger population of drogs from devouring the souls of every mortal creature that they can find, such as Perihelion himself.
So they're used as a buffer.
In a way, drogs are... He just sits on it and thinks on it a little bit. It's a little... It's less altruistic. It is nice, yes, that our Lord Perihelion stops these drogs from running around devouring souls at their leisure. But he doesn't do this just for his own, for the benefit of others. Of course, Perihelion is very interested in, the safety of mortals and things such as this. But he also uses the drogs as envoys, extensions of his own will beyond the priests, if that makes sense.
They could be used for, like, delivering messages, spreading his word outside of just fire priests. Do you think has he ever, and I mean absolutely no offense by this, and this ties into my other question, has he ever shown any ill will towards the rest of the world? Like possibly using them as, say, warriors or assassins?
No, the Trogs aren't quite intelligent enough to do this. They can't even speak. Drogs are, for his envoys, the few times fair priests have died, Drogs have been sent to recover their bodies in order to return their flesh to our Lord Perihelion.
So they act as like an arm of Perihelion.
Yes, they're extensions of his own body, to say.
Hmm.
Perihelion is not the only godlike figure to use this. Any sort of divine entity to a point is a Drog. Some are more powerful than others, but Drogs are the base of, I suppose, celestial or divine beings.
So then going back to my original question, I'm sorry for interrupting, and again, I mean absolutely no offense by this to him or yourself, has Perihelion shown any ill will towards the world or the Empire or anyone specifically?
No. And he waits for a moment. I don't know how to phrase this without making this seem rather uncomfortable.
I think we're far from that, so go ahead.
Perihelion accepts the way of all flesh. There is no need to conquer, there is no need to force the way of things. All things will return to him one way or another.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
So,
The soul might not be his, but the flesh is.
So
you've been around for a long time. I'd like to tap into your history a little bit more about the Empire. Do you know if the Empire has an issue with Perihelion in any sort of way?
No.
Aside from just the citizens praying for his blood, but the official Empire, whatever you want to call it, the political structure, the politics of the Empire.
Well, I'll ask you this. Have you ever been to this island before?
No.
Do you know of anyone who has been to this island?
No.
Beyond those who require healing, is it not strange to you that those of you, those mortals interested in this land, have not arrived here?
Well,
Think on the boat. Think of the black ship and how you arrived. You noticed how suddenly you weren't able, the island didn't seem to get any closer, and then suddenly it was.
yes.
So Perihelion, for one, knows we're here, and two, he wants us to see this. Is that what you're...
I'm going to explain my line of thinking.
No, yes.
The reason why I am asking is possibly out of forewarning for you, and again, do not take this the wrong way. The reason why I'm asking these questions is because you said yourself the only other time that an incinerator that you know of has come to life has been when the Empire needed it. If there was a possible conflict of any type coming towards the Empire from your god, that could very well be the reason why the incinerator was born again. Again, I do not mean any offense. I am simply trying to see if this would be the case, and if it is, to possibly try and connect the dots.
I think you have some logic behind that.
I see.
But
Okay, and he stops on the stairs for a moment. I think you've gotten the wrong impression of where you are. He walks around for a moment, and then Ethan's searching for something. He picks up a black, a stone that seems to have fallen off of one of the little outcroppings. Take this stone, and he pushes it over to you.
I'm gonna take it.
What does it feel like?
What does it feel like?
It really just feels like a regular stone.
It feels like a regular, ordinary stone to me.
Oh, are you sure?
That's what you said.
I'll take the stone from Aldak. Do I feel anything different? Does it feel like not a regular stone?
Blurt out the first thing you can think of.
Rough.
It's
not smooth.
The stone itself feels. You definitely have this rough feeling to the stone, but it doesn't exactly feel like stone. It's something else, and it feels almost like something else entirely. You just can't pick what it is.
Can I put pressure on it between my fingers and see if it bends?
As you start to squeeze it a little bit, it does. It still has the strength of stone. Ethan looks at both of you for a moment. It feels like stone because you imagine it to be stone. Yes?
Are you saying that if we think of it as something different, it will turn to that?
No, stone is still stone, but this was, as I was mentioning with the ship. When you were on the ship, you saw as if suddenly you were at the island. Fog had surrounded you, and suddenly you were there.
Yeah.
So we're letting our minds play tricks on us.
You're getting closer. When you arrived at the island, you couldn't see the shorelines anymore. They were just fog. Do you remember when I spoke of other dimensions?
Yes.
Are
And
we
when I
even
spoke-
really on this island?
He looks at Isse for just a little bit longer.
You've brought us outside of our current reality.
Are you serious?
Well, I suppose that's a close response. You can
That.
still see
I
the Black
mean-
Island, could you not, from the shoreline?
Well, yes, of course.
Yes, but that doesn't mean you couldn't use a gateway or some sort
So
of
wait,
portal.
forgive my train of thinking. Did we technically plane shift to a more divine realm, to speak with Perihelion?
At the very
Not
least,
a word I would use.
a realm between realms. Almost as if it's you could define it as a pocket sitting at the top layer of things.
Oh, this is so ironic. Oh.
That's
So
We're
you'll-
here,
So you,
how
but we
that
are
word
also
works.
not here.
I'm gonna turn to the rest of my compatriots. Do you all understand what that means? That means that we have traveled from our material plane between the astral sea to a pocket dimension.
We're not in a pocket dimension. We are in the astral sea.
And the what?
The astral sea.
Space
It's
between the space between planes of existence, the space between here and the never dark, the place between here and the divine mountains, the place between where you go to buy coffee, and the place between where the literal fucking gods live.
the astral sea is what connects different planes to one another. So you are telling me that we traveled. Oh wow, that is very ironic, but very. Now I'm even more curious.
An interesting place, to say the least, as he continues up
Very.
the stairs.
I'll
Also,
follow.
welcome, Clank.
Yes, welcome.
I've been here the entire time. What are you talking about?
Clank, you seem more depressed ever
Enough
since
with
you
this.
failed your charisma save. Are you alright?
Enough with this. I have business.
Yes.
I have business with your god.
Okay, well,
As do we all.
As do I. I wish to touch the god.
I would not recommend that.
Why?
Clank, I'm sure that you've been pondering things, but I think we all agreed to just witness and be an audience so we can all get out of here safely and not piss off a god.
Nay, I wish to touch.
Clank, I will leave you here.
I am going to
If
do
I have to.
something none of my kin have ever done before.
Ulgu, that goes for you too. If you go to fight
Okay.
this,
I have business with this god.
I'm
I
gonna-
did not
you
say
go
fighting.
to fight this.
Closet, I'm
What's
gonna take off one of the gloves on my hands. I'm gonna like rub it. Do I feel anything in regard to like
You're rubbing the glove, right?
I'm gonna take off both my gloves. How about that? I'm gonna take off both my gloves. I'm gonna rub my hands together. Like I'm gonna rub like my thumb over like the palm of like one of my hands. Do I feel anything like similar to something that happened in my past that none of the other party members know about?
You don't exactly. I'm gonna try and start climbing these stairs fast. I'm gonna try and keep this. And I'll let you define this. As you start to rub your hands together, your hands still feel normal, but you have this odd and very strong recollection of old memories start to resurface.
Do I see anything specific?
It's not exactly any sort of visual hallucination or anything, but it's just a very holy shit. So many people attacking. All right. Really, I was just I'm leaving this one up to you on exactly what kind of memory you're trying to recall. It's definitely a strong, defining memory in your past.
I'll remember the first time that my father, my mother took me and my siblings on the airship to go and travel to the kingdom where Aunt Ivani was, and it was just my brothers being assholes and giving me noogies on the top deck, and my sisters playing around with like minor illusions. And once I'm done recalling that memory, I'll put the gloves back on my hands and I'll continue forward.
After quite a bit of walking, you finally you walk upon a rather large group of dead and dying individuals still stuck on the staircase. It seems that a lot of them have given out around the same time.
Has anyone... Priest,
Yes.
has anyone ever fought one of those creatures? Well, I don't necessarily need to fight anything while I'm here.
Yes, let's please not do that.
I'm not talking to you, elf. If I am to witness this thing, may I request something of your deity?
Such as?
Well,
Is there any possible way we could make it known that he is separate from us, please? He is not with us, but we're not associated with him in any way.
Silence. You know of the ways of Grand, yes?
Yes, I do.
You know that there are many ways to impress Grand.
Yes.
I have come to a decision of two requests. Either to fight something that no one has ever dreamt fighting before upon the astral sea in a place between the realms of existence, or getting a tattoo from a god.
So you're asking for either a deadly battle of unscaled proportions or a tattoo.
Both would be best. Name another.
Again, is there a way that we can make sure that he's not associated with us right now, please? This is entirely him.
I can do this of my own accord.
Ethan looks at you for a moment. It's a little hard to gauge what his reaction is, as he has no, facial features. And then just says, "If you'd like to be judged, you can."
I wish not for judgment from your god. I wish to... I wish to be... Okay, out of character real quick. What is the name of the friggin... The realm that Grand owns, or is the Great Fight?
It's usually called, the Stormlands. There is no, specific name.
Okay, that's fine. I have no need for judgment by your god. I wish only to reach the Stormlands, and if this is a way that I can get there faster, then that is what I am here to do.
There are many aspects to judgment. I'm sure you'll find one that's equally useful.
He's not with us.
I am very well aware. I can speak for my own.
I think that Ulgu, if you want to be judged, I think that would be part of the judgment. If you were to ask to be judged through combat or through a wicked tattoo.
May I? Clank would want to ask God question.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
my
want-
roll 20 just crashed.
I just want to ask what happens if I touch.
You become some half man, half mechanical creature, I imagine, and that might be
Oh,
somewhat.
my roll 20 crashed too.
There goes roll 20.
Yep.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming back. It's coming back.
Okay.
Everybody crashed. it
They
looks
might
like.
have just launched the server.
They
might
were
have-
doing
They might have
maintenance.
cycled their servers.
That they
That
were
happens occasionally.
they were doing maintenance earlier today. I want that to be
Oh,
known.
okay, gotcha.
For a second there, it just showed only.
Path
me
has
here.
been chosen. Our path is in front
Oh,
of
now,
us.
Mizuno,
I-
Stop it!
Look, regardless, it's on. If we could continue on, so we can.
No,
Get
no, no.
this-
I want to make this very clear
All
right now. Ulgu is not with us.
all deck. If
He
he,
is doing that of his own volition, his own accord. I have nothing to do with that.
all deck, and I'm gonna grab him by the shoulder. This is a god that we are dealing with. He already knows what our intentions are. Breathe.
No. Hold breath.
If
Slash
two
will bring us
of our
home when we
compatriots want to
die.
be judged by this god, we cannot stop them.
No.
I'm
But he will not
being
associate
No.
us with their judgment.
I have a feeling he does, seeing as how you're all wearing the rings of fucking Lascaris.
My fingers are too big for the ring. I do not wear it.
Look,
He wears it
it's
on his
on.
piece.
I'm
We still
sure.
all have it on us. You
I'm-
don't think he's gonna notice that?
I'm gonna put my hand up, and I'm gonna look towards the Thon. Continue, please.
Well, we have almost reached the top as he starts to, as you start noticing that there's one man still, using his arms, just crawling up the staircase at this point. After a few minutes of climbing, you turn another bend, and you find the absolutely massive doors of the cathedral. The cathedral dwarfs everything in its size. It is easily hundreds of feet tall, and it's rather strange that you weren't able to see it from the distance you were at before. The massive black doors just look immense in proportion, as if they were crafted specifically for one massive creature. Standing in front of it is one a Drog, standing next to a rather frightened-looking child.
That's unfortunate. Eat.
Point and laugh at child. He he he.
Children should not suffer in this world.
Mizuno!
Shut up!
If they can wield a weapon, they are a soldier.
Old enough to
Therefore-
crawl, old enough to brawl.
Exactly. He's a war weapon. Fair game.
He does not even have his name yet.
So,
Let's call him bait.
Ethan walks a little closer, and he walks up to the doors of the cathedral and puts one hand on it. You can hear the noise of massive mechanisms moving beyond the walls.
Father, is that
And-
you?
As the doors slowly open,
Scoutmaster Jennings?
you can see in this sort of dirt and stone-like floor, massive pillars ahead of you and another set of huge doors. Above this courtyard of sorts is just one massive skylight. Ethan walks a little bit in towards the courtyard and just sits down. He looks over at the rest of you and motions you to join him.
I'll go and I'll sit next to him.
I will too.
I sprint over to him and sit on his lap.
I sit for nothing.
He's just gonna push you right off.
How rude. You should have gestured more appropriately. His lack of facial features gives me the let's fornicate glance.
Clank.
Out of
No.
character, if I wasn't acting incredibly fucking depressed right now, I'd be losing my shit.
All right. One moment. Okay. After a moment, Ethon sighs and just says, "And now we wait."
For how long?
As long as it takes.
It's
After he sits and stares at the doors, and after a couple hours,
Well, I was gonna ask. So I know that we were talking about empire and imperial traditions upon coming here. I remember you telling us not to help anyone up the stairs. Is that an empire tradition as well, or is that one of yours?
no. Those who cannot make the climb belong to Perihelion. Those who are not judged, those who are not given an infusion of his blood also belong to him. As I said, this is the way of all flesh. After a very long time, about 1 to 2 hours, you can hear as the next set of doors ahead of you starts to grind open.
Looking at the ground.
The massive doors give way, and all you can see is just this pitch black layer. After quite a few minutes, you feel as if a massive wave of air has started to hit you. And what floats in is this incredibly large, impossibly sized creature
Awesome.
of
Nope.
pure white flesh,
Look at that ground.
grooved features, with what seems to be this flayed and split center from the center of his face down to where where the belly button would be on a normal person. Ethon stands, and the child who was brought in is led closer towards the floating form of Perihelion.
Hey, Claus, out of character. New
Yeah.
season 4 of Attack on Titan looks crazy.
God damn it!
Oh, continue.
All right.
Using what?
No, hold on. All right. The
What?
godlike form and the godlike form of Perihelion before you just intensifies the strength of the island's effects. You have this increasing mental pressure. It's hard to reconcile the actual form of a god from a mortal perspective. Everybody make me a sanity saving throw.
I'm looking at the ground.
Everybody make me a sanity saving throw.
So how do we do that? Is that
So if
that's
you
in
go
our
to your
sa- Yeah, I see
saving
it. I
throws,
see it. I see it.
to fight.
Fuck you.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
I need
Get
Ulgu and
fucked.
Clank.
Nice.
Ulgu and Clank to make me sanity saving.
Clank is
Okay, we can be
messy.
stuck on that number. That's fine.
Yeah, let's be stuck on this number the rest of the night.
Oh my god.
Do you think Clank has brain? Clank is immune.
So I'm pretty sure me and Isse are the only ones that failed that. That's tough.
So, Aldak, Ulgu, and Clank. Suddenly you can hear a chorus of voices. It gets louder and louder, and as you attempt to cover your ears, it becomes deafening. And then suddenly, everything stops. You release a sigh of relief, but you can't even hear that. It seems almost as if all sound is stopped for you.
Great, we're deaf.
So,
Not exactly.
for Mizuno, you think on everything that's happened to you so far. You contemplate the vision of Perihelion. You gain your first vision of the fleshscapes and the war that preceded it. Mountains of blood red, just mountains made of creatures, eyes in the distance staring at you from every which way.
Somebody likes
Rivers of
sarcasm.
sludge-like blood. Random vein-like holes moving throughout the terrain, and creatures of mind-boggling proportions walking off in the distance. You're standing in the middle of a field as a chorus of void giants begins to surround you. It's hard to explain what you glean from this, but you seem to be at peace with what you've seen. As you wake from this dream, you sort of shake off that same depressive cloud that's been with you since you first arrived at the island and realize that this isn't your time yet. Isse also finds himself in the fleshscape. But your time there is terrifying. You find yourself running between these eye stalk-like trees. Horrified by what you're seeing, you attempt to use your magic to find a way out of there. Panicking, it feels like you're almost there for months. Until one day when you accidentally fall into one of these flesh-like tubes. Falling for hours, you think you finally met your end. And then suddenly you wake up back in the cathedral. Please reduce your overall sanity score by 1, Tato. Cassian.
Oh no.
All that you can see is blood.
Oh no.
You find yourself just drowning in this ocean, surrounded by these creatures, and anytime you can get your head above the ocean of blood, it's just this horrific screaming. Lightning is striking the blood around you, and you have no idea where you are. Once again, you feel even more lost than you ever in your life. When you finally find a way to bring yourself up and get a hold of dry land, you see the dry land that you've actually grabbed a hold of is just an island made of bodies, all of them having your own face. You look along in horror until you finally decided you've had enough of this and begin to drown yourself in the ocean. You wake up afterwards, back in the cathedral. Please reduce your sanity score by 2.
So is this from 10 to 8, I assume?
Yeah.
Nice.
So for some context, guys, sanity and honor aren't going to be like regular ability scores. They're going to actually gain and increase over time.
Clank already expects honor to never increase.
What the heck was that?
And with that, make me another sanity saving throw 6.
Nice.
Oh no.
Dope. Nice.
Right, cool.
Why do you? Oh, because you've lost sanity. Oh no.
I'm only -1 right now.
It's about to be -2, Chief.
Yeah.
Finding yourself staring at this figure of Perihelion, even those of you who've managed to steel yourself against what you've seen, it still makes it near impossible for you to actually make an action.
Still looking at the ground.
You try to
just
move.
yelling incomprehensibly about fighting.
Even slight movements to yourself just have no reaction. You attempt to those of you looking at Perihelion, when you attempt to take other observations about the cathedral, find yourself unable to look at other bits of the cathedral. Your eyes are now stuck on him. In the distance, you see the child as he starts to speak to the living God. You can't exactly hear what he's saying as the noise reverberates throughout the walls of the cathedral and seems to fold back in on itself. In reality, it just sounds like a wall of sound hitting you all at once.
That still goes for me, who's not looking at him.
Yeah, well, it's sound. God.
Well, I'm only asking.
Still looking
Yeah.
at the ground.
Yeah, I'm still looking at the fucking ground. I am not looking at anything.
After a little bit, you hear this sort of strange noise. As Perihelion extends his hand closer to the child, this massive hand that would dwarf him seems to, with his flat palm facing downwards, he hovers his hand over the child, and a small drop of blood from his hand reaches from his palm and douses the child in its blood.
Destroy the child.
With the sheer weight of the liquid, the child falls to the ground and doesn't seem to be moving. One of the drogs that escorted him in picks up the child and slowly walks out of the cathedral.
Oh, I just realized something, Closet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to DM it to you.
So while he's doing that, out of character, is there a way to get your sanity back, or is that just
Yes. Each long rest, if your sanity's underneath 10, all you gotta do is make me a save, and then you'll be able to gain at least 1 back.
Okay. And this can be a reoccurring thing?
Yes.
Fuck it, good.
Yeah.
I was about to say, damn man, you fucked me hard, huh?
Alright. After a little bit, you can see as Ethan moves forward towards Perihelion. The god himself
Priest.
turns over at Ethan.
What
And
are
Ethan
you doing?
removes his robe. You can see the rest of Ethan's body at this point. He himself looks almost as if he's a smaller scaled version of Perihelion. The same white flesh with grooves all along, with a lack of missing flesh, I suppose. Ethan outstretches his arms, as in a sort of cross-like shape. And Perihelion turns closer towards him.
You mean
After-
he's posing?
Kind of, yes.
He could be A-posing.
Anyways, Perihelion starts to shift his shape. He's still floating above the ground, and this time, instead of the same stance that he had, he starts to move into a fetal position, if anything. There's a deep rumbling in the ground, as you can see pillars of the cathedral begin to crack, and blood starts to flow from the cracks all the way to the ground.
Is it like
Small-
piling up in the cathedral?
It's piling up around the pillars. It
Oh,
hasn't.
fuck.
It's not so intense that it's filling up everywhere, but there is still very obvious large pools of blood everywhere.
Gotcha.
After a while, you can see little strips of skin fly off of Ethan's body, and more of his flesh becomes exposed. You can hear Ethan's voice from all directions, very in a whisper-like fashion, as you can just hear him say, "This is the way of all flesh." As his body is then unraveled,
Priest.
and his flesh starts to rip off of himself and incorporate it into the body of Perihelion. More and more of his flesh starts to fly away and join the body of the Void Giant. And suddenly you can see as if on each groove of Perihelion's body a white light shines, almost blinding in a sense. The entire room is filled with this light, blinding everybody just for a few seconds. And suddenly it's back to normal. And you find yourself still in the cathedral, alone with the living god of the Black Mountain.
Okay.
You're right, Rob. Ribley one, aren't you, mate?
I hate you.
This motherfucker.
I was taking a drink, you bastard.
Now, add a character note, Scythe, you wanted to get him to give you something, right?
Sure.
Come on, man. Fight the Colossal Titan. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'll fucking do it. I'll fucking fight the Skinless Titan.
You won't.
Do it, you won't.
Come on,
I
I'll
should say
give it
this
you.
entire time I have been clutching Stormcrusher, praying to Gron pretty much the entire time.
Well, yeah, that'd be the smart idea.
Hoping he can see me. But I am not about to fight the god of flesh. That's an easy way to get Thanos.
You sound like a coward. But I'm kidding. I understand.
Grond likes cool things. He doesn't like cool things that are wasteful. Or, not cool.
It's very hard to go to the Stormlands when you're incorporated.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of hard to go to the Stormlands when you're literally just a floating bubble of flesh, isn't it? But I guess, yeah. Why, is he gonna ask me something, or am I being...
Well, I mean, it's if you want to,
Oh.
you know, ask him for something. If you notice he hasn't said anything.
Ethan, are you still
Can
with
you
us?
Can you not speak? I am... okay, let me try and... I am
Have another
here
go, Chief.
as a representative... Or not a representative. As a... Fuck! I had this thing worked out in my head, son of a bitch!
After a little bit,
This is my path to the Stormlands. I have come here to be challenged, or to ask for a gift.
You feel the cathedral shake underneath you as Perihelion starts to float closer to the rest of you.
Is Ethan still here?
You know what? Even if I do die, I went all the way to Perihelion and challenged a fucking god face to face. I'm still gonna end up in the Stormlands. Let's go!
Can I kneel or anything? Pause it.
You can, if you want to.
I'm gonna fucking kneel.
I've already stood up and I'm just gonna face what's coming.
Perihelion moves closer and starts to he starts to kind of kneel down, still floating above. He kneels a little closer, putting his face near, as close as he can to Ulgu. You can see the same horrifying flesh-like creature that he is, and on a closer inspection of what's actually been flayed from him, the flesh that's exposed doesn't exactly make any sense. It doesn't have the appearance of what should be in his head or what should be in his chest. It just seems to be random flesh put
More
together.
skin.
I have a feeling it sounds sort of like this, like...
Ah, that's gross.
He gets a little closer to you, and you can feel a presence drill itself into your mind.
There it is.
It seems to be familiar, just a little, almost as if it's the same voice that Ethan would use to speak to you, with his own telepathy of sorts. It seems your request has been seen and judged. And the only thing you can think of is that it will accept your request, but only if you can survive it.
You are so fucked, but I'm so willing to see this.
You get the impression that you do have an out, that you do have a choice to not do this.
My god calls.
Oh god.
And you also get the impression that if you fail this, if you're not strong enough, that will be the end of you.
My god.
That means
Do
you.
the rest of us feel anything, or is it just him?
The intense pressure that this is only spoken to him in his own mind.
Well, no,
So
I
for the
mean
rest
like a
of you,
feeling of like we're in danger.
Not a feeling of you're in danger, but that same almost divine-like feeling that you had earlier, that insane pressure that you felt has now just become stronger. All right,
Yeah.
out of character.
I want to leave.
Hold on. Out of character, Scythe.
Yes.
This is going to be 2 checks, okay?
Uh-huh.
If you fail these,
Yeah, I'm aware
You
of what's
will
gonna
die.
happen. I'm aware.
okay,
Oh shit.
I want to leave.
all right. Perihelion looks at you a little bit. Now, and then suddenly your mind is filled with a series of visions. Go ahead and make me first a wisdom save.
Natural 20 this bitch. Come on. Natural 20.
No,
I'm jabbing
shut
it.
up.
I'm
Shut up, all of you.
Guys, yeah. Let him roll it. Okay.
That's still good.
It's
All right.
not good enough.
The pressure of the vision mounts, and for a moment you think you might lose control of it. But suddenly you find a way to control the magic that's been coursing through your mind. And you're able to clear away all of the noise and divine energy that's been filling your own soul and focus on what you came here for. Your mind has been cleared, but now it's your body that has to be tested.
Oh no.
Let's go, baby.
Make me a constitution save.
Come on, man.
And
Not
there I
bad.
go. No, there I go.
It feels as if you're at war with yourself for years. Stuck in this horrific mockery of the Stormlands. A vision of yourself fighting versions of yourself atop the mountain. Horrific mutated flesh creatures that you've beaten against with Gronzone Bardiche. After years of fighting, you find that the Bardiche is somehow dulled.
Yep, there it is.
You start to swing down these creatures until you're finally overwhelmed.
Yep.
Things begin to go dark, and then suddenly you feel the sort of a course of lightning go through your veins, and you wake up in the cathedral.
You're
You
not
try to
dead?
hold yourself together for a little bit until you can't anymore and
There it
fall
is.
unconscious.
He's
Your
like,
hit points are going to be 0 for now, but you aren't dead.
Huh. Okay.
Perihelion extends his hand out, and a drop of blood falls from his finger onto your trunk.
Huh.
Oh, I
The
don't like the
blood
look.
spreads across your trunk and etches itself into its own tattoo in your flesh. The pain of the tattoo wakes you up and has you almost screaming from from your flesh being carved out. It seems that you've received a blessing from Perihelion.
Huh.
oh my fucking god.
I have met your challenge, mighty deity.
You feel something at least speak to you in the back of your mind. It doesn't seem like you've been able to receive this blessing unscathed.
Oh god, here we go.
Suddenly the cathedral shakes once more, and Perihelion retreats back into the black cove that he came from. The doors behind him begin to close, and the cathedral is empty once more, with the exception of you.
And Athan isn't with us anymore, right?
He's no longer there.
Okay.
Well, that sucks. I wanted to ask a question.
We should go.
We need to leave now.
Let us discuss
I'm gonna turn
what has
around.
let us discuss what
We-
I know. Let me finish. Let us discuss what has happened once we get back to the Empire. Let us go.
And never speak of this again.
No.
Can I write on a piece of paper? I want to ask Perihelion.
God damn it.
With the escaping.
Mixed with the escape. Perfect.
How do you do that? Who's Isse?
You
Tato.
do
He says
slash me.
potato,
like,
yeah.
Whatever your message is.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Ulgu is on the ground now.
Someone should pick him up, but also maybe heal him. I'm not touching it.
I can't heal anyone. Oldak, just help me pick him up.
I'll give you a hand. Let's just go home.
Yeah.
We
We'll-
need to
we'll-
leave
We
now.
we are doing that. We'll discuss this once we get back into Grand Huron. And I guess we'll just spend our time carrying Ulgu and just making our way back to the boat.
As you begin to exit the cathedral, the doors open, and what's in front of you is what seems to be a massive group of drogs. Some of them standing in front of you, some of them floating in the air.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You look in the distance and you see it's an almost innumerable amount of them. The few that you saw along the path are nothing compared to the massive field of them. It seems almost as if some of the clouds were made of these drogs. They don't seem to react, but they do seem to be staring at Ulgu.
Laughter above. What now?
Do I see the tattoo on his trunk?
Yes.
It's pretty new.
Yeah, it's very clear.
I know. I'm gonna motion for us to keep walking with Ulgu in tow.
I say we all get very close to Ulgu and then
I
proceed and then
agree.
just hold the trunk up.
Yes, I
Hold the
agree.
trunk up as leave us be.
I'm gonna. The way I'm carrying him, it allows me to have one hand like close to my hip in case shit gets dicey. But we're just gonna keep going without.
It's for a moment the drogs seem to be blocking your path, but as you get closer to them, they just sort of fall apart into this gas that very quickly rises up into the air, making a path for you down the stairs. Any drog that you seem to get to just sort of dissipates into gas. You can see as you're climbing down the stairs the same bloody footprints from the child that was led up the mountain, or led down the mountain. And after quite a while of carrying Ulgu, sorry, I read the letter. After quite a while of carrying Ulgu down the stairs, you find yourself back at the beach with the boat. The other boats that had carried other individuals like to the shoreline have disappeared, and all that's left is the black boat that you had taken to the beach.
I guess we'll help Ulgu onto that, and then all pile in and set it back towards the black ship.
Mm-hmm.
As you attempt to move the boat doesn't seem to budge.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It seems to be stuck in the sand. Before you attempt to get out and push it, it seems another drog has appeared down on the beach.
I have a quick question before we continue this, as this is a grammatical issue that I don't think actually exists in proper English.
What's up?
So Ulgu's name ends with an apostrophe.
Yes?
How do I then write something in his possessive? Do
Uh,
I double
another
the apostrophe?
Yes, you do.
Is that actually how you do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Huh.
Alright.
Okay.
Anyways, after a little bit, the drog walks closer to you until it puts a hand on the front end of the boat. For once you've seen the hand of a drog, this sort of sickly pink kind of desiccated hand, really. The drog seems to push the boat with ease, and pushes it, and continues to push and walk with the boat until you've reached deeper into the water, and then pushes you out to sea.
Thank you.
Cassian isn't going to say anything until he gets back to the ship. I'm just going to take off my gloves again and examine my hands.
Aldak's not going to say anything till we get back to Grand Huron. Not even on the boat. I ain't going to say shit.
Clank is going to imitate Perihelion as a thank you.
hate you,
God.
Royal.
Mizuno's going to be like, well, that was an adventure, wasn't it, guys?
The one thing that we can surely say from that is we are, from what I can recall, one of the very few groups of people to witness something like that and come back.
I hope he reads my letter.
You left a letter.
I left a letter.
I don't know if he'll be able to mail it back to you, but I'll be looking forward to seeing if he does.
Well, I'm sure we'll get back to here at some point.
Also, I read that as live. Did you mean live?
No.
No, you meant that as live?
Am I live?
Yeah, okay. I wanted to make... No, I read it that way, but
I love how you put
sure.
fleshiest regards.
I hate you so much. Alright.
Clank was built for war.
Why do I always do the dumbest shit in your campaign's closet?
I mean,
maybe.
that shit was kind of poggers.
No, you should
Anyways,
be
hold
aware
on,
of the
hold
time
on,
I
hold on,
challenged a vampire elder to fight.
Hold on. Anyways. After a little bit, you look forward and you can see that the black ship has already started to open up this gateway, if anything. The fog corridor has appeared, and you can see Grand Huron in the distance. Drogs on the back end of the ship have already started to stare at you as the dinghy is approaching.
Is the gateway big enough for the dinghy to go through?
It seems that the ship is waiting for the dinghy.
And yeah, I guess we'll go to the ship.
The dinghy's, once it approaches the side of the ship, through a series of ropes, it's finally pulled up, and you're allowed to enter, or at least stand on the deck of the ship. Multiple drogs have exited the hold, and have started to surround you.
Hey guys, what's up?
Insight check. Do they seem hostile?
Go ahead and roll me insight.
Where is it at? It is right there.
It seems that the drogs are focused on Ulgu, but
They're gonna take
doesn't
my leg.
seem to be hostile per se. It's hard to gauge what they're actually doing. Drogs are entities from outside of the material realm, so regular intentions are hard to gauge from them.
Right.
After a while, more and more drogs start to come out from under the deck, and it just seems to be an almost army of them that has appeared on the deck. It seems that wherever they're coming from, there can be almost limitless amount of them. Many of them start pointing at Ulgu with their weird desiccated like hands.
This boat had a much bigger crew than I thought it was going to have.
Part of the ship, part of the crew. Part of the ship, part of the crew.
After a while, some of the drogs start to close in. They start to get closer and closer and closer.
Guys, personal space, please.
I think y'all have propped me up against a railing and have just kind of left me at this point.
No, I'm so close to you.
Yeah, we're all
Why?
close to you.
Yeah,
I take
they're
the
surrounding
distance
all of
away.
us.
Actually, maybe not.
After a while, you can see as some of the drogs start to rub their hands on Ulgu's trunk. Some of them putting their hands on his arms and legs and other parts of his body. Other drogs have started to attempt the same with the rest of you.
What does their touch feel like?
It doesn't really feel like anything. The only word you can describe it as is hollow. Occasionally, whenever one touches you, you get the flash of a memory. Something so quick that you can barely describe it. Sometimes memories of being in a field. Sometimes memories of being in combat. Some of it is just quite literally memories of drinking water.
I'm gonna point without saying anything to Ulgu's tattoo.
You notice as many of the drugs have already started to rub the tattoo up and down. And after a little bit, this somehow brings Ulgu back to consciousness. As he wakes up, many of the drogs seem to be surprised by this and almost immediately dissipate into gas. As the others have dissipated into gas, this causes a chain reaction with the group of them. Suddenly a massive black cloud is covering the deck, as all the drogs have decided to just turn into the same gas and fly up into the sky. The deck is empty.
That was
All this,
bizarre.
all this gas must be bad for the environment.
I think that's the least of our concerns at the moment.
Maybe for you, but I live forever.
Aldak is looking around like, are they all gone?
There doesn't seem to be any drogs.
Well, no, he's paranoid at this point. Like,
Gotcha,
looking around
yeah,
like,
Gotcha.
My guy is paranoid as shit right now until we're getting through the gate.
I guess we're just gonna sit, wait, and watch until we get past the gate.
Mm-hmm.
The ship seems to enter the fog corridor. And now your few minutes of waiting begin. And after the same amount of time, the same short amount of time that you guys had when you first came to the island, suddenly the ship fills with fog. And then after a few seconds, a crack is heard. And you're back near the dock. The black ship is now floating near the same dock near Grand Huron. A drog appears standing next to one of the dinghies that you had taken in, just staring at you.
Well, I think that's
Obviously, gotta
believe
get.
that is our cue.
yeah, I believe that is our cue. Let's go. Ulgu, do you need help?
Mm-hmm.
I am fine.
You feel any
Do not
different?
let us be rid of this place.
Yes, let's
Yeah,
let's get to an end to discuss all of this, please. And I guess once we all pile into the dinghy, I'll slowly extend my sword and I'll kind of just look at it between my hands.
When you see your own reflection in the sword, you get this very unnerved feeling. Whatever happened to you on the islands seems to have stuck with you. And you can't really shake it. After a while, the drog releases the dinghy from the side of the boat. And rather than the gentle lowering, it seems that the dinghy just hits the water. After a while, the black ship sort of just fades away and starts turning into that same black gas that you had seen before. The gas is very quickly brought back, very quickly just flies back to the island and seems to head back into the clouds that you could see before. Ahead of you is Grand Huron. You can't seem to see anybody near these docks. And the dinghy begins to move again.
Is it day or night?
It's still daytime. In fact, it doesn't actually seem to have been any difference in time from when you left.
Time dilation works differently.
Excuse me?
Time dilation between realms works differently.
How do you know what that term means?
Because I studied how to plane shift more efficiently.
Sorry, that was out of
Back
character.
home.
My guy still isn't talking.
Gotcha.
Well, I'm explaining this to the group because I would have noticed.
No,
Yeah.
that was just Chris.
I know,
like, freaking
but
out,
this
gotcha.
is Cassian just looking into his blade, talking about this. I guess we're just gonna wait until we get back to
Dude.
the dock.
Nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Derp, derp, derp.
After a little bit of sailing towards the island, you finally hit the beach. It's definitely a welcome respite from everything you've experienced. The boat seems to hold. It doesn't dissipate like the black ship. The same strange black wood it's made of. And the black ship is gone. No one is on no one is on the docks along the coastline. Everything just seems to be normal.
Holy shit!
I don't know about you all, but I'm looking to rest after that.
I need a stiff drink.
That's a lot of information to take in.
Adventure.
Sorry guys. What happened? How'd we get to the beach? How'd we get here? What?
We... From what I can tell, and from what Ithon has told us, we took a gateway from the material plane to Perihelion's realm.
Wait. Gateway, Perihelion. What are you on about? No, we came here. I don't know what you're talking about. Where we saw the good priest off.
I agree.
I don't know what you're on about.
I see what
gateways and
I
don't know what you're talking about. Gateways and material planes.
I see.
We accompanied the priest here, where we let him go.
I see what you're doing, but I don't think everyone's going to be on the same
Cassian,
page.
look at me. Look at me.
I'm looking at you.
I let the priest go. I don't know what the fuck you did, but I let the priest go. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, in that case, I'm going to go and take a load off. I have a lot of information to process.
Yeah, we
Dragon King seems
did
to be
a
in
good
denial.
job, and let's get a stiff drink, and yeah.
Does
Totally
the,
nothing wacky or uncharacteristic happened. No way.
Why would we have a stiff drink? Why would we not want a liquid drink?
Does the salty spray have room and board?
It didn't exactly seem that large, but there were other doorways leading out there. So it is fair to assume that it might actually have room and board.
And yeah, I'm gonna start heading that direction.
All right. Give me 1 second.
I'm going to head in a different direction
What?
for 3 steps and then turn around.
Fucking you.
I have a pedometer in my systems that I must monitor.
You're something else, Royal.
Steps are
So
the number of steps I take a day is my entire identity.
So- by associates and acquaintances, do we just put deceased next to Thon?
I'll update that, I promise.
Okay.
Ascended.
Ascended. The ascended one.
Hey, Ulgu, that's a cool looking tattoo you got. I must not have noticed it until now.
Yeah.
He got it on the island.
What island?
Isse, he's not going to accept it. Just me and you can talk about this at another time if you want. Right now, I just want to get a room for the night.
Okay, you know what? I am sorry that I don't want to acknowledge the fact that we damn near died to a god on an island we didn't need to go to.
I get that.
You'll have to forgive me for this, okay?
Eldark, what are you talking
No,
about?
I don't have to.
Okay.
Nice.
After a little bit, you find yourself back at the
Nice.
back at the port. It doesn't take you long to find the salty spray, as it's really the only taverner in-looking building where there is a constant stream of drunken Imperial Marines. After a little bit, you find yourself back in the spray, and it's just not as filled as it usually is. There's actually only one person sitting by a table, and Torum just at the bar.
Hey, Torum.
He looks up at you, just kind of grunts, and continues cleaning the mug that he's cleaning.
Torum, do you have any rooms that we could rent out for the night?
He kind of points the mug accusatory at you and says, "And why should I give you a room?"
Because I have
Because
money.
we're gonna pay you.
Yes, we have money.
Yeah, and most of my other page. What was that?
You're getting the money ready.
Oh my
No,
god!
no, no. I'm paying for my own room. Don't.
And most of my patrons, as he points to the one by the table, don't show my brother a curse tablet.
You did what? And I'll look towards Altac and the group
In
that
our
was about to light
defense,
up.
we did not know what it was.
Well, I don't go around opening up every damn magical box I see.
Look,
Hey, we found it in his cart. We thought it was his. He didn't know what it was. He wanted to see it. He opened it himself. I didn't open it.
look, sir. My associates wanted to bring no harm to your brother.
Believe you me, if we had known what it was, we wouldn't have done it. If it's any consolation, I looked at it too.
Yes, he... Wait, you looked at it too? Why?
Shut up, Cassian.
Oh my god.
I'll take that as that's no consolation at all.
At this point, he's just kind of staring at you, even just slightly confused with his level of angry.
I looked at it first. He asked me what it was. I said, I have no idea. He wanted to look at it. I told him that might not be a good idea. And he said, well, what if I open it and you hold it? And I thought that'd be a good idea. Or I thought it'd be okay. I don't know. He opened it, not me. His curiosity is what pushed him to want to see
So
it.
I should be more angry at you for you being an idiot rather than trying to kill him.
Listen, if you don't want to see it, just tell us and we'll go. But we have money to spend, and unless you want to let us order food, drink, and a room, then tell us to piss off. I do not have the time or the patience, sir. Please, either indulge us or communicate something.
I just kind of look at Cassian like he has a problem.
If it's fair, if it helps, we did heal him afterwards. He is alive.
This is bullshit. There is no we.
What are you lot discussing?
Go ahead and, 6, go ahead and roll me persuasion.
Is this persuasion or intimidation?
Let's see, what are you trying to go for
Well,
here?
I was kind of giving him.
It's a bit angry, but...
I'll go with persuasion. Fuck it.
Okay.
I haven't been rolling that well tonight, so might as well help out.
Torm's gonna look at you and just... Fine, but you're paying more for the rooms. What do you want to eat?
Just give us the price for the rooms. That's all I want right now.
It's gonna be 5 silver a day.
I ain't sleeping in here.
Take a gold, and I'll place it like firmly on the bar counter door, like there's a loud impact.
He looks at you a little annoyed and then just points over at one of this doorway with the kind of cloth cover. One of those oh my god, I totally forgot the name. Holy shit.
Door?
It's not a door. Not a door. I didn't forget
A
the name of the
curtain?
door. What?
A curtain?
I don't know. What? Okay, what do you describe it again?
Fuck it. You know what? It's a door. Someone changed it. It is now a door. Suddenly a door appears before you. Fuck you. I'm not going into that.
Okay.
He points at the rather poorly held together door, almost like a saloon, like a wagging saloon, like a little saloon door going back and forth.
Do you mean flapper doors?
Flapper door. That's not what I was talking about originally. But anyways, going on. He's like, you'll go through there. First room on the right.
Thank you.
There'll be enough space for all of you. Well, he looks at Ulgu. Maybe not him, but the rest of you.
I'll turn towards the rest of the group. I'll be in my room. If you need to speak with me, that's where I'll be.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go to my room. And I will wait. And I'll wait till everyone's done doing their shit in the tavern before I want to do what I want to do.
Can I buy a drink, please?
I kind of wait until he leaves the room. Is it just me or is Cassian acting a little bit more, what's the best term for that?
Bitch-like.
A little bit more bitch than usual?
Rude.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Give me 1 second.
1.
I'm gonna kill you. I swear to God.
Some people think that getting to level 20 is winning in D&D. For me, it's making the DM say, fuck you. I have won. Victory for Clank.
Victory for Clank. Oh, that's great.
Victory metal screech.
Okay.
Three.
So he looks. Torm's gonna look over at Aldak. What do you want to drink?
Victory speech.
Strongest drink you have.
I'll take what he's having.
Torm kind of scoffs and turns around to grab a bottle. He puts two like small stone cups in front of you guys, and pours it out for both of you.
Would you
Down
like
it.
any?
Shot.
All right. You take it down, and it's an very strong burning sensation. Even more so, suddenly you feel an incredible pressure in your face. It's almost as if someone has just punched you in the mouth.
Did you just give them dragon fire?
No. What you just drank is a very classic dwarvish moonshine.
Oh. So it's like
Um,
closet. Dragon fire is not usually for sale in chic saloons.
Go ahead and both of you go ahead and make me a con save.
Although that does do the same thing.
One thing I'm good at.
Okay. You're able to hold down the liquor and kind of pause for a moment as the sensation just burns the shit out of you. And you can definitely tell that this is enough alcohol to kill most horses.
I'm
That's
gonna
cool.
slam my thing on another, please.
The pain means I'm alive. I'm good.
Torm looks at you for a little bit and just says, "Okay, you know what?" And just puts the bottle down, like next to you guys. You just take that. You look like you could use it.
You
Thank
have
you.
no idea, and thank you. I'm gonna pour myself another drink and down it.
I'll occasionally, throughout I don't know how long you guys are going to do this, but I'm going to occasionally give you guys con saves, just not for...
Oh no,
every
I was
time.
just doing the one drink.
Gotcha, good.
Well,
Okay.
can
I was gonna say, how much do you want us to pay for that?
He hasn't exactly said it, but for the bottle, it's just out of character. I'm going to tell you it's going to be like about 1 gold.
I'll pay for it.
It's moonshine. It's not that expensive. He
It's
probably
always
has a
nice.
I'll pay for
Dwarven
it.
moonshine.
nice dwarven moonshine, but you say that like that's particularly expensive for him to produce in his fucking basement.
Yeah, but, you know,
don't
seller's market.
In character, like I would have asked him, like, hey, how much for the bottle?
Oh, yeah,
1
gotcha.
gold. Paid for it.
Yeah, gotcha.
Does anybody want any food? I'm kind of, famished after that bullshit.
I'm good
Nobody-
on food. I'm good when it comes to food.
Well, if I'm gonna keep drinking this, I'm gonna need something, and I take another thing and I pour it in and drink it down. That's 3.
Can I get a little help here? Somebody.
What are you doing?
I'm laying out a stencil for a tattoo.
But you already have one.
I need more.
Clank starts stabbing.
Okay.
Ulgu.
I think I'm just gonna go to bed.
I just need you to. I'm gonna go find a tattoo artist that can actually just do this for me. I don't trust you fucking idiots.
Are you guys getting your own rooms, or are you getting, you all piling
Figure-
into the one room?
Figure pile into the one, because that's what he said will fit. Said it'll fit.
I'm gonna go elsewhere, where they aren't racist.
No, that's not. It wasn't mean he was racist. He meant you're just literally huge.
Well, I am going to willfully misinterpret that.
nice, nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
I prefer the term ableist, thank you.
Shut up, Royal.
I wanted to do something real quick since it's getting to that time where I kind of gotta get ready for work.
Yeah,
But
sure.
this is the only thing that I really want to do before Cassian goes to sleep. I want to fold out my blade.
Mhm.
I want to examine. I'm gonna get on the floor. I'm gonna sit on my knees. I'm gonna kind of like press the blade like up against like my thighs, like the flat side. I'm gonna look into it, and I'm gonna think in my head. I'm not very religious, and I know that gods exist, but in this world, where I am a stranger both spiritually and physically, I could use a lot of help right now. And I'm gonna try and call out to some type of god that is associated with my lifestyle, of that can understand, like, I guess what I do and where I'm coming from, for aid, guidance.
Okay, give me 1 second.
And the way that I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna set the blade on the floor in front of me. I'm gonna set up my thieves' tools. I'm gonna set out my gold, like my gold pouch. I'm gonna take off my robe and like use that to lay everything on. I'm gonna roll it up. I'm just gonna
As
close
you
my
do.
eyes and pray.
You pray for a moment and you really think on, and you try to reach out to anything that might exhibit what you're, that might reflect qualities of yourself. And you try to tap into that same feeling of being around a god that you experienced when you met Perihelion. You wait for a moment, and wait, and wait, and wait. And there is no response.
If there's no response, I guess I'll put my things in the corner and I'll sleep.
Okay. I know it's 8 o'clock for you, so you're gonna be heading out, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I gotta get ready for work.
Alright, man. I'm actually really glad we were able to start this at 5 p.m. I feel like that was great. I was really happy about that, except the fact that Royal had to deal with a bunch of screaming children.
Yeah.
I was gonna say during the downtime, I'm just gonna pray to Cthulhu, or is that how it's pronounced? Cutune?
Oh, yeah. Okay, that was weird. I didn't expect you'd pick that one. Sorry, that caught me off guard.
Yeah, I mean, you
God
could
of
too,
life,
if you
like
want.
thank the God of life for not letting me die.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, are we ending session here, or are you guys gonna keep going?
I guess since you're sleeping,
I mean, it's a good ending.
I think you
point.
guys want to. I think some of you guys want to handle like what you're going to be doing prior to the long rest. We could handle that, but I guess
I have a
technically
couple
speaking-
things I want to get through, but
Yeah,
mainly just buying stuff.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, you guys are free to move around the city and whatnot. We don't all have to start the session in the same inn, you know.
Right.
So I'll handle what you guys want to do like prior to your long rest and whatnot. Other than that, I think we're basically done.